This is Authentic Analysis with AI
and K,
where we'll be discussing the most controversial crime cases from across the globe.
as well as other important topics. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe.
Well, welcome back to Authentic Analysis. So where we left off, we were explaining that Brownsville is quite close to Matamoros, and loads of students will travel from Brownsville, Texas to Matamoros to party, and Mark Kilroy and three of his friends were partying about him. They reported him missing to the police, the Mexican police, but Mexican police didn't want anything to do with it. They said, oh, he must have gone back to Brownsville or Texas, and they didn't make,
Dismissed it.
Yeah, they dismissed it.
But maybe I think for Constanzo, he thought that this wasn't going to be a consequence, and since he it was very, I don't know if I want to use the word spiritual, that's not the right word either, but I guess his sacrifice, he thought he was basically untouchable.
Yeah.
And this was just the start of his downfall.
Yeah, I think he definitely really believed in his magic.
From different sources as well, it said that Mark was killed with a machete blow to the head. I don't know. I don't think it really matters either way, but just like I said before, there's a lot of different various sources that say different things about the case. So, I mean, all of them basically come up to say that Constanzo was like basically evil man. So, but a lot of dates which we've left out is because they vary a lot. So I don't want to give wrong information. But it's just unfortunate that Constanzo went on this, I guess, reign, and probably terrified a lot of people that lived in the town that he lived in. I mean, just for the fact to say that he said he had these powers, I guess. And he took everyone down with him. That's how I see it anyway.
On April the 1st, 1989, Serafin Hernandez drove past a police checkpoint. He was obviously, I don't want to use the word gassed, but he obviously believed in the magic that Constanzo had blessed him with. Just drove past the checkpoint like the police weren't even there. And that's when they followed him back to the ranch. And the investigation sort of started there, because they found the ranch and they found various items there that were very strange.
Yeah, like AI said, I guess Constanzo had convinced, I don't know, all his followers, some of them, that they had some, I'm kind of basically just putting in simple terms, I guess he told them that he had like a cloak of invisibility, I guess. I really don't know. I don't know what it's like to follow someone like that, but I don't know how someone can really convince you that you're invisible to, I don't know if it's to your enemies or was it just to your enemies, but clearly that didn't work out for him that day, or anyone else.
Yeah. I mean, they obviously believed in the magic too much, because, there's one thing believing in gods, but to think, like you say, that you're invisible, that's bringing more heat onto the organisation.
But I don't know, you can't really call it magic though.
Or spells, or...
Okay, maybe, unless if they call it, I guess if they call it magic.
I mean, I use the word magic, but yeah, spells, but whatever it was that Constanzo did, that's what he believed in. Police eventually apprehended Hernandez, and he just admitted nonchalantly that he did kill Mark Kilroy. Again, in this belief that nothing was going to happen to him. He took the police to the ranch, or they made him take them to the ranch, and that's where they found several other bodies. He started pointing them out, or someone was pointing them out. And basically they realised that all this time they have been killing people and hiding them in the ranch. So as we said, that Serafin Hernandez basically thought he was invisible. So from what I read, he was basically inviting the police officer to shoot him because he felt like he wouldn't be hit or hurt by the bullets. So it said that the police officers made Hernandez take him back to the ranch. The police had arrived at the ranch. They had found a lot of, they said, firearms,
they found marijuana, and they had arrested Elio Hernandez and Sergio Martinez when they basically found them there. So when they arrested Elio Hernandez and Serafin Martinez, I don't know if all these people just got the same last name that are related, but there's a lot of Hernandez in the story, and I don't think they're all related, or they got a really big family. They had found a lot of his ritual paraphernalia, like I guess they said that they found, like dead animals and things like that. So they had taken 4 were arrested, or 3 or 4 from the cult were arrested, and had taken them back and had questioned them, and they basically just spilled the beans. They had explained about the rituals and what was going on, and that just started them on a goose chase to find the head.
Mm-hmm. So they eventually got intelligence that led to one of Constanzo's homes, and they found porn, a book of spells, and his client list, all the people that he was doing his spells for. But there was no sign of him.
So I just wanted to read basically it was said that the police, when they had returned to the ranch, they had found, like I said, Constanzo's nganga with blood, spiders, scorpions, a dead black cat, a turtle shell, bones, deer antlers, and a human brain. And also they had found Constanzo's private cemetery, where some people say there was 15 or to 25 mutilated corpses, which included Mark Kilroy's as well, but I think maybe by then he wasn't identified yet, but he had basically buried them all in his surroundings where he was. His luxury hotel, the places where the police had found the pornography and whatnot, it was just outside Mexico City. So when they had gone to that one of his luxury condos and they didn't find him, people had started to say that they had seen Constanzo in Chicago, and I guess maybe the police were tipped off to go check there, and they weren't able to find him. So as I was reading this story, before I knew that what had happened to Constanzo, I actually thought that Constanzo was going to get away, but he didn't. So
eventually 180 officers surrounded Constanzo's home, and he approached one of his homes anyway. When they approached, he basically started to fire his weapons towards them, and then a big gunfight ensued.
So it was said that Sarah Alderete had thrown a note out the window which said, "Please call the judicial police and tell them that in this building are those that they are seeking. Give them the address, 4th floor. Tell them that a woman is being held hostage. I beg for this, because what I want most is to talk, or they're going to kill the girl." So she wrote that long ass note. I don't know how, it's a really big note, but she threw it out the window, and supposedly a passerby had found the note, read it, and thought it was a joke, and basically just kept it moving. So I don't know, I can't imagine walking down the street and someone threw that note and I'm just going to take it as a joke, but it takes 2 seconds to call the police in case this is real, but, let me not put the blame on the person that found the note, but just saying Constanzo could have been alive, and he would have been really infamous. But
is this like the guy who signed the witness for Shipman's victim's will? Is that how you're seeing it?
Well, it's hard to say that it's similar. I don't know. Well, the passerby, he saw there was danger and he just ignored it, so not really the same thing. The other guy, made a mistake. This one just, I don't even know, I can't say what he was doing, but I don't really...
I mean, yeah, if you see a note like that, it's just no harm to just send it to the police, or give it to the police, just, do you know what I mean?
Well, clearly Sarah's, she's still alive, she was arrested, so she told her side of her throwing a note. So did the passerby admit this to someone, that he thought the note was a joke, or how did they know this? Because I don't think I would ever admit if that was me and I ignored the note, so...
Well,
I don't know if it's made up or not. Sometimes you can't really believe
exactly.
every aspect of it, but...
Yeah. Right. At some point when they were trying to pursue Constanzo and his gangster friends, they ended up burning down one of his homes. Also, Constanzo had a friend called El Dubi, and it was said that Constanzo said to El Dubi, "You need to kill me." This was when the gun battle was going on, and he thought it was time to give up, but he didn't want to give himself into the police, and he told El Dubi to shoot him, and El Dubi was like, "No, I can't do it." And then he said to El Dubi, "Well, you're gonna suffer in hell," or something like that. You're gonna suffer in hell if you don't. And apparently, then El Dubi decided to kill Constanzo. So eventually, he was never pursued or captured by the law. He took his life by proxy.
So, as AI said, Constanzo asked El Dubi to basically kill him because he didn't want to be taken by the police. I guess death was the only way out for him. So Constanzo supposedly asked El Dubi to kill him and Martin Quintana, which only left Sarah and El Dubi left to face the police. And I don't know, I do wonder. Okay, I think it was said that Martin was one of his lovers at one point. So why? So did Constanzo ask him to kill both of them? Killed him and Martin? Why did he just leave Sarah? I thought Sarah was like his right-hand woman, so how comes he... Well, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I don't understand. Out of the 4 people, he only asked for El Dubi to kill the 2.
Maybe he was the person that he died with was the person that he loved the most. And in that moment, that's when he not decided, because he would have already decided, but in that moment it became true. It became apparent, to everybody else.
So
I'm just speculating.
So Martin believed him that much that when... So if I wonder, probably Constanzo asked El Dubi to shoot Martin first, to be fair, because if he shot Adolfo first, I'll just tell him not to kill me.
It's also said that it was the police that killed Constanzo, because if they took him in, he had so many secrets of people in the government and people in the police force that were using his services. So that's another theory.
That makes more sense.
He had to die.
He would have, yeah. I mean, I still think the people that were left over could have spoken, but yeah, Constanzo probably would have told all the secrets to get a shorter sentence. Or, well, I mean, if they found that many bodies on his ranch, I don't think he would have been any point, but that makes more sense.
I mean, much longer do you think this would have gone on for? I mean, that's a silly question, really, but...
Well, before or after he got caught?
Well, before he got caught.
He would have carried on until...
But, I mean, it was only a matter of time at the end of the day, because the way they were acting, it was like... I compare this crime family to, for example, let's just say the Italian mafia. They were quite organised, and obviously there was no religious element, not in the same way anyway, but they were very organised. They had specific rules, but because of all the spells and the beliefs in these things, I think they were just being a bit reckless.
Well, I think Constanzo was reckless on his own, because he instructed everyone to do everything. So, he started being, somewhat organised, because he had plans to get all these drug families on his side and get people together and whatnot. And then as soon as he thought, okay, I can do this, I just think he took it to the next level.
So do you think, because we were saying, it was at some point we were discussing whether it was a scam, do you think he really believed in his magic, or in his spells and the Inganga and all these things, or...
Yeah, I mean, if he's grown up with it his whole life, yeah, he probably believed it.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
I think he knew his boundaries and what he could and couldn't do. I think some aspects he knew that, if I sacrifice this animal for this person, there's a chance it might not work, but I'm going to have another plan to make sure if it doesn't, I have something to back me up. That's what I think anyway. Yeah.
So that was the story of Adolfo Constanzo and the unfortunate death of Mark Kilroy and many other victims.
Which, someone's never not been identified, or...
Yeah.
I don't know, because of the people that he chose, I don't know if the Mexican police didn't see them as important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was an interesting case, but the variations and what information there is, it's really hard to look into it when I can't find, you're not always going to get straight answers, but it's I just wish the information was a bit clearer, but basically I hope our analysis of the case is somewhat helpful.
So just one more thing, Mark Kilroy's family started the Mark Kilroy Foundation to stop drug-related deaths. So, I mean, it was a tragedy, but at least one good thing came from it, and hopefully that foundation was instrumental in stopping these sorts of horrible, horrific things happening.
Yeah, and you know, I don't work in law enforcement or whatever, stuff like that, but you know, sometimes when, I don't know, people like, you have sex workers or whoever, if they go missing or they're getting murdered, if we pay attention to them sometimes, you know, it can stop the whole domino effect, but
Yeah.
who knows. But hopefully you enjoyed this video, and we'll be back with another case next week.
Thanks for listening. And if you haven't already liked and subscribed and pressed the bell and shared, please, we can't stress enough how much that helps us. Alright, like Kay said, we'll be back next week with another case. If there's any cases that you feel like we should look into, then write in the comments, you know. We're always open to hearing more cases and investigating more cases. Alright.